What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are running Smoker for the OP03 format, and we got paired up with Katakuri off the bat. Going into this matchup, I wasn't very confident that we would walk away with the dub, just because it's Katakuri. Katakuri is very powerful in OP03, and being able to swing 7k pretty much every turn, as long as there's a Dawn available, is pretty scary. But let's go ahead and jump into it. Essentially, I do choose to go first. You can't see it, the text box behind me, but I do tell my opponent good luck, have fun. And I do go with a mulligan here, and we get one CP9 card. We do basically, for the Navy package, just have the Bernu and the Isho. That's really the only major difference for the Navy package. And there's a small CP9 package to help facilitate a few things, like giving characters negatives on their costs and things of that nature. But our opponent starts off with the pudding, gets the search off for a Big Mom Pirate card, and they pass turn. And on 3 here, we're just going to go ahead, and since they have the 1 cost up, swing for 7 into the leader, hopefully getting that first life off. Because it's yellow, they want to play with lower life anyways. So, and then from here, the Bernu, we only play it because we play the CP9 package. Now it's really stunk, because we do hit 2 Navy cards, and then the 10 drop is actually not searchable off Bernu because it's former Navy. So we do have to give up one of our blockers, one of our best blockers, and our 10 drop, which is essentially somewhat of a win con in certain conditions. Again, 10 drop Kuzan, as great of a card as it is, it's just not as great as everyone thought it was going to be going into OP02 format. And again, in OP03 format, I think it will have its times where it comes in clutch, but it's not like essential. So they're going to play the Rush Katakuri. Their life is lower than mine, so it gives them a 4 drop with 6k Rush, which is fine this early in the game. Not a problem. We'll take it, and we do get a 10 drop Kuzan off of life, which makes up for the one we had to toss, because we do only play 2 in the deck. So we're set up for like super late game. We get the Rob Lucci, and the Lucci ended up staying in my hand way longer than I wanted to see it. We've only seen one other CP9 card, which is the Soap Sheep. The Soap Sheep kind of facilitates what I like to try to make happen with the stage card for the Navy, but the play here was to use Smoker's ability to bring the Rush Katakuri down to 3 cost, and I realized I would have a Dawn hanging if I didn't go ahead and swing with 7 here. And that also mitigates the fact that we had to give up minusing the pudding to get Smoker's ability fully off, but it does open up the play line to play the Kobe, and then we will discard the Soap Sheep, so we hit a CP9 card in the trash to help facilitate for Rob Lucci's ability, because you do have to have, I believe for the ability to fully pop off, you have to have 2 CP9 cards to return to deck in order for him to actually gain the Rush ability on the turn he's played. And that's kind of part of why Lucci doesn't come down as early as I'd want to see him, but Lucci does eventually come down, and I think it worked out for the best whenever he came down. They play another pudding, so at this point, if we can get rid of one of them, it's fine, because we still have a target to basically facilitate Smoker, no problem. The Shirahoshi was a little troublesome, or at least I thought it was going to be, because the ability, I believe it's draw 3, trash 2, and yellow just really wants to get to their big moms. 7 drop Lin Lin, 10 drop Lin Lin for late game, kind of closing things out. And I believe at one point they trash a 7 drop Lin Lin, so I thought I would see another copy come down. So they swing 7 with Katakuri here, and we just take it. It does put us down to 2 life, but it keeps them from being at lower life than us. And we have 2 Borsalinos, a ton of 2k counters, which I'm just holding for the end, or like more towards the end game. We do have 1 impact wave. I'm checking my trash to see if I have 2 CP9. I don't. so Lucci doesn't make sense to play because I'm not going to get the rush off. And essentially, I'm counting out my Dawn here to kind of really see the best play line. So obviously go ahead and go in with the leader since nothing on their side is arrested. Can't swing into it. We don't have anything to facilitate any removal. So take advantage of what's on the board. They do give up another life. It's now tied up 2-2. But we did give them a Parasparrow, which is troublesome because you don't want to KO it and give them a search, especially not this late in the game, because if they don't already have the Lin-Lins in hand that they need, you don't want to be able to facilitate them getting the Lin-Lins to hand just to get a body off the board. So the Cracker isn't a big problem right now because their life isn't lower than ours, and though they do get 2, we end up being able to deal with it pretty easily. It wasn't ever anything I was super worried about, because even if they take another life, which at this point it's going to be kind of hard for them with everything I have in hand, and I did leave 2 up for the Impact Wave, so we're going to go ahead and use the Impact Wave and just get rid of one of the puddings. We could get rid of the Parasparrow, but like I said, we don't want to be the reason that they get their win con to hand at this point in the game. So we're going to just shut them out of that search. I'm sure they thought that that was what I was going to go for. Here we're going to go a little risky, but we see another Impact Wave. We're going to use the trigger and get rid of one of those Crackers. That's what I meant by we end up dealing with them pretty easily. And then from here, just a matter of what they're going to do. They do have the Parasparrow to swing again, which I believe is what is about to happen, because they don't have any more Dawn available, but it was really pointless because we just 6k block with the Borsellino. No problems there. They have no way to buff. So they're going to pass turn. We do draw the Kuzan, the 4-drop Kuzan. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're just checking the trash there for CP9 cards and kind of figuring out exactly what we're going to do with our Dawn here. We want to try to take care of this Cracker, I believe, and probably set up another Borsellino just to be able to make sure we can get through. There's no way for us to, close out the game this turn whatsoever, but we're also trying to avoid any of the big Lin-Lins coming down if at all possible, because that's kind of where the tables turn in any matchup against Katakuri. So we do decide to kind of do some poke swings, get some things out of their hand. Their hand size is getting rather large, and it's a little bit scary whenever it comes to yellow, because they do have a lot of counters. And for late game, you don't want them to have those counters in hand. The pudding, I guess they didn't want to give up a 2k, which I don't blame them. At this point, we're going to go ahead and still try to get rid of that Cracker, take care of the board a little bit. I had never seen this card. I know it's there, but I'd never looked at it. It's a vanilla. There's really no point to play it. So we go ahead and put the 4-drop Borsellino down. We don't have any events. There's no reason to keep any Dawn hanging at the end of the turn. We can block off 2 attacks. We can counter out of just about anything. The Bernu, we're not worried about if they swing on. We can let it go. We can let go of 1 Borsellino at worst. The Kobe isn't essential, but it just kind of depends on how they decide to swing. They do come down with the 10-drop Lin-Lin, which is what we did not want to see. We have no life now, so we have to counter out and defend against pretty much everything if we want to stay in the game at this point. So they're swinging 5 with Cracker because they don't have any Dawn left. So we know they don't have any counter events if it does get back to us. They're going to swing 5 with Parasparrow. At this point, we can block their last 2 swings with Borsellino, no problem. There's no point in giving up a body when you can just block out of it for free. They do swing with the Katakuri, 6k block. Now we get another CP9 card. I forgot that there was a CP9 Fukuro in the trash because of the Lin. It was in my life, so I was still under the impression that there was only one CP9 card in my trash. As you saw, I went to look, and then I was just like, no, I'm not gonna look. So we do swing for 9 to try to get some stuff out of their hands since they don't have any blockers, but they just take it, and it's always scary when they just take it because yellow has so many trigger effects that you never know when something's gonna get played for free. But you know, the name of the game is deplete their life, and at this point, I do make a little bit of a misplay here. I put 3 onto Kobe to swing 7 when I should have put 4, because my thought process was put the Fukuro down and then block with it, and then that puts 2 CP9 cards in grave. If I would have realized there was 2 already there, I probably would have played the Lucci a little earlier. But from here we do swing 7, hoping to get something out of their hand. I should have swung 8. It would have made more sense. It would have gotten 2 cards out of their hand versus just the one Shirahoshi. And from here, we're just going to play the Fukuro, I believe. And we now have 3 blockers on board. They have 4, maybe 5 swings. And we should be able to get out of pretty much anything and at least live one more turn to try to close things out. And it also kind of depends on what they play. It always depends on what they end up playing. I was really scared of a second 10 drop coming down this turn, or even a 7 drop, because then I don't have a choice. I have to give them another life, and that gives them 3 Dawn to work with. But then they immediately go into putting Dawn onto the Katakuri, which is going to give them a 9k swing, which is never fun to deal with in a situation like this. But the plan from the get-go was to use the Fukuro to get into grave for next turn to give Lucci the rush ability. So that facilitated what we hoped to do with that. From here, we counter out of 1 attack and then save a blocker for the big Lin swing that you know is going to come. And if I'm correct here, no. Okay. I thought I was going to block with the Borsellino, then counter out, and then maybe bait out an attack to, you know, clear my blocker. But we just go ahead and counter out there. They do play a blocker of their own, which is, you know, it is what it is. We can play around it, though. They do swing 7. And from this is what I was thinking of. We block and then we 2k out, and then I can't remember if they swing with the Lin or not. I want to say they do, and we end up giving up one of our Borsellinos just, you know, because there's no point to not give up one of them. Because worst comes to worst, we can not swing with the Borsellino and keep a blocker up, but we're kind of in a position now where when they pass turn, we have to try to either close it out or, you know, pack it up. That's essentially what my mind state was here. But it was also, we have this rush Lucci that they're not going to be expecting since it's CP9 and it's not Navy, and most of my deck so far has been Navy, and maybe that's why this deck worked the way it did. People aren't expecting to see the CP9 stuff mixed in with Smoker of all things. But from here, I'm just like really calculating that if I'm going to play 6-drop Lucci, that only gives me 4 Dawn to work with, and then I really have to try to, you know, solidify that I'm going to get game. So with this, we can activate Smoker's ability. They still have a pudding. We can swing with 9. With 9, they have to give up at least 3 cards, or else, you know, they can block. But if they can counter out, then they're going to counter out. To be honest, at this point, I don't remember exactly what happens. They give up the life. And then we swing with 5 with the Kobe. Because Borsellino can swing at 5k, no problem. I think they block here. No, they counter out. They should have blocked. But we go ahead and play the Lucci, and this is where I realized, oh, I have 3 CP9. I could have already played Lucci. We swing 7. And then they, like, counter out like crazy. And I don't exactly know why they conceded, because the next swing, I wouldn't have swung. To be honest with you, I would have kept my blocker up. But even then, there was no way for me to get out of it, to be honest with you. So, I mean, if we're being completely transparent, I probably should have lost this matchup. But I guess they just didn't see a way out. Maybe they didn't mean to counter out the way they did. I'm not sure. But we take our dubs where we can get them. It was a really close game regardless, though. The fact that Smoker even kept up the way it did was really surprising. And there's definitely a few ratios I want to fix and some more playtesting I want to do. This was just literally the first iteration of this deck and the first game I played with it. So I'm going to do a little bit more testing with this build. I'm going to adjust a few ratios, and once I feel like the deck is solid, I will actually do a deck profile video with it in its kind of final form, so to speak. But I just thought it would be really fun to build Smoker in for OP03 format. It's my favorite deck out of all of them out there. There's definitely decks that I still have fun playing outside of Smoker, but for some reason, around the time I was actually getting into the game to like play it, OP02 was coming out. Smoker just kind of called out to me. I like the play style of it, and I guess it's a little bit of an underdog deck at this point, just because it does good, but it also kind of struggles, and that's always been kind of play style in all TCGs that I've ever played that tend to kind of be what I gravitate to. So anyways, if you like what you saw, make sure to hit the like button. If you're new here and you want to see more One Piece TCG content pretty much every day, hit the subscribe button. If we're not putting up videos like this, then we're live streaming. We've been doing that a lot more. It's easier for me to fit into my schedule, and it's really fun to kind of be able to interact with you guys, you know, in real time versus just through the comments on the videos. And until the next one, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Peace.